Hi guys, this is Orchid. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I've been in the market for an extra large piece of canvas art to put over my sofa for a while. I've had this set of six prints that I got from Home Goods years ago. I've made additional prints to put in them to change things up a bit a couple of times. And finally, I got this canvas piece from Macy's Commercial Arts, but I got a recommendation on Estee for this artist, Shai Yosefs. I went to his personal website instead of using Estee and fell in love with his art. Ended up buying this piece, 59 by 43. It is a little smaller than I should have. Your art over your sofa should be around 75% of the length. My length is 90, so I should have something at around 67, but I can work with 60. This is fine. What I love about his art is just the way he's able to capture the joy in the children's faces. Um, it's just the brushstrokes, it's just amazing. He gives you a thank you print, which is much smaller of another piece. I didn't have it when I was filming, so I don't have it to show you, but that was just beautiful. I gave it to a friend of mine who is also in love with this work. I thought the background was white, but it's actually a soft gray. The estimate from Michaels to stretch this was $350, so I decided to do it myself. Found these 2 by 2 by 8s at Home Depot for $3. They tend to be a little warped, so make sure you check them. The great thing about these is that they're rounded on the edges, so when you stretch the canvas, you shouldn't see the sharp lines underneath. Now I'm basically making the frame myself. You will need a miter saw or you can use a miter box. So once I miter my first end, of course at 45-degree angle, I measure from the longest point all the way to the length that I want. In this case, it's 60 inches. I make my mark, so when I cut, I know my blade should hit there on the side, should hit that line that I make there. What I generally do is cut it a little bit longer, then I go in and do my precision cut because I'm really bad at cutting correctly, at correct lengths. That way works better for me. So this is my rectangle now with my mitered corners, and this is why I always recommend DIYers to get a miter saw. It saves you so much work, makes things so much easier, and it is really a good investment. A 7.5 inch is only $100. The frame, this that I have from Macy's, I noticed that they have that piece in the middle, and I figure that it's to prevent sagging, so I'm decided to put that on the frame I'm making as well. I'm going to nail it together first with just one nail at each because I'm actually going to screw the pieces together, but just to keep it, together, for the screw, to drill and screw, I nail them. A nailer is also a good tool to have as a DIYer. So you're going to drill and then you put your wood screw in. I'm using a 3-inch wood screw, and of course I'm doing this at all four ends. After I did that, I reinforced it by putting a couple more nails in. Then I move on to installing that center piece. Now move to the actual stretching. You're basically laying the frame on top of the canvas, and when you staple it on, wherever you staple, when you next staple, you move to the opposite end. So if, say, I'm stapling at that end as you see me doing there, when I staple again, I'm gonna go to the opposite end and staple. Now, it is advisable not to stretch it too tightly because if you do, you will see the outline of the wood frame and you don't want that to happen. So I know you guys must notice that when I was stapling on the sides, that the staples were actually visible. I made the frame for a 60 width when the canvas is actually 459. Then on top of that, it's a 2-inch depth. So I barely have enough there, but when I'm finished completely, you are not going to see those staples on the sides. So my first reveal, guys, this is what I've done so far with just $11. This is what I was gonna pay $350 for. Now you see that effect that you're seeing there, like it's not smooth. That is actually the paint, shadow from the paint. Let me get closer to show you what happens when you overstretch. See? You see the actual outline of the frame underneath. And that piece I had from Macy's, there were sections that looked like that. So even the professionals make that mistake. So I don't feel badly. But overall, guys, you can save a lot of money by doing this yourself. Now, to take it up a notch, or in other words, to give it the effect of a floating frame or, that sort of look, to make it look a little more sleek, I'm using vinyl molding. These are 1/4 inch by 2 by 8 foot length. They're around $6 and I only needed 3 of them. I'm basically going to miter the corners and spray them metallic gold and nail them onto the frame. So because it's a very flexible thin piece, it's best to cut it laying flat on your miter saw. So you would set the actual blade of the saw at the 45-degree angle and not the base right there. So you see, your blade is now leaning at a 45-degree angle. Bring that down and you get to cut your 45-degree angle fairly easy. If you stand it up, because it's such a flexible piece, it could shatter it, and that's where you will have splinters flying too. It has happened to me before, so I know, which is why it's always advisable to wear your protective goggles. Another thing I do, because I'm always undercutting, is to cut the ends for just one end for two pieces, tape them together in place, then I move down to the other end, mark where I should cut that piece, cut the other piece, put them together, then I move on to the next. I know it sounds very tedious, guys, but that is what works for me. I don't know, I just can't get precision cutting. I'm not a one shot cutter, it has to be several tries. So I'm just showing you where I make the mark for the next piece, then I cut that, then the other piece. Now, since I'm spraying it, of course, I have to clean it off to get rid of the oils from my hands, and now I'm just adding that to the frame, and I'll be done. I'm just nailing on both sides at the corners, and then I put 2 nails in the center. So my second reveal, guys, and you see with the molding around, it looks so much better, and you are not seeing my staples for that short side. And this is under $40, guys. Even when we add in, I think when we add in the price of the spray paint, but I didn't buy spray paint. I already had that. I am so pleased with how this turned out. I am even more pleased the fact that I saved $310. As usual, I love to hear your feedback. I just want to say thanks to you, Shai, for such a beautiful piece. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye now.